Yo, what's good, y'all? We back once again with another reaction video. Right now, we're ready to react to the Briley brothers. And so if y'all don't know about them, that's a serial killer group back in the day in Richmond, Virginia. I'm saying these niggas like this bitch getting crazy. Had the whole city fucked up, scared on they shit. My mama used to tell me about this shit, bro. She told me about this shit one time, bro. I ain't never really looked into it. I mean, I looked it up and shit, but I don't really know much about it.
Linwood Briley, born March 26, 1954, James Briley Jr., born June 6, 1956, and Anthony Briley, born February 17, 1958, were raised in Richmond's Highland Park area by their parents. Linwood and James, together with their younger brother Anthony, were seen by their elder neighbors as young people who could assist them fix vehicles or trim lawns. Exotic pets such as tarantulas, piranhas, and boa constrictors were acquired by the brothers. Bertha and James split up as the brothers reached adolescence, and she relocated. The one person the brothers feared, James Darrell Briley Sr., had his bedroom door padlocked from the inside overnight. Linwood, who was 16 at the time, committed the first murder on January 28, 1971. Linwood fatally shot Orlean Christian, a 57-year-old neighbor, with a rifle from his bedroom window as she was hanging out laundry on a clothesline while...
Oh, fuck no. They were these type of killers. Like, I just want to kill somebody real quick type shit. Because for you to be 16 and shoot a woman that's 57 as your neighbor, like, you must have some built up somewhere. Like, I just want to kill.
He was alone at home. Her relatives saw a small bloody mark under her armpit during the viewing and requested that the body be re-examined by a funeral director.
He shot from the window? Damn. Was the motherfucker... He had to open that bitch because, I mean, it could have been too much evidence that he shot the window, broke the glass, blicked at her, so he must have opened the window. Bah! Bah!
A tiny caliber bullet wound was located under her armpit during a second inspection. An investigator placed a sheet of plywood to represent Christian's body in the backyard, with a hole cut out to represent the wound. He was able to determine that the bullet came from the Briley home. The murder weapon was discovered there, and Linwood confessed to the crime, claiming, "I heard she had heart problems, so she would have died soon anyhow."
This nigga is crazy. So off the rip, I'm confused on. So he was 16. So they, what the fuck?
Linwood received a 1-year term for the murder and was
type shit. Just a 1-year term because he was 16. Slap on the damn wrist. That's how it should start.
Transferred to a reform institution. James followed in his footsteps, having been sentenced to juvenile prison at the same age for shooting a police officer during a chase. Damn. The three Briley brothers.
So James Linwood, this nigga's just this nigga's just insane. But James, he just on some hot shit. But this nigga Linwood kind of crazy.
And an accomplice, Duncan Eric Meekins, began a 7-month spree of random killings in 1979, terrifying the city and surrounding. The Briley brothers and an accomplice, Duncan Eric Meekins, began a 7-month spree of random killings in 1979, terrifying the city and surrounding area. Linwood knocked on the door of William and Virginia Bucher of Henrico County on March 12, 1979, for their first attack. Linwood ultimately forced his way into their home, claiming he had car issues and wanted to use their phone. He waved Anthony inside while holding the pair at gunpoint. After tying up the couple and robbing the house, the two Brileys doused each room with kerosene after robbing it of valuables. A lit match was tossed on the fuel as they walked away. The two swiftly stuffed their stolen goods, a television, a CB radio, a .32 handgun, and jewelry, into their trunk and fled the scene. William Bucher and his wife were able to break free from their bindings, which Meekins had evidently not secured tightly enough, and flee the house just as it was engulfed in flames.
Okay, that's good.
Despite the...
I was thinking, like, damn, that's tragic. Like, y'all couldn't, like, step up or something? Like, they left the room. Like, y'all niggas was just stranded. Like, they got y'all whole shit tied. But shit, they got out of shit. Shit, me personally, shit, I don't know what would have happened, bro.
The fact that their cat died in the blaze, they would be the only survivors of the rampage. The Brileys
Damn,
beat,
cat died.
shot, and robbed Michael McDuffie, a vending machine serviceman, in his suburban house on March 21st.
Damn.
Linwood shot and killed 28-year-old Elric Alvin Clark 10 days later, on March 31st, following a narcotics dispute involving Meekins. The brothers followed Mary Gowan, 76, across town from her babysitting job on April 9th. They followed her into her home, assaulted her, looted her, and shot her. They made their way out of the house with numerous of her possessions. On July 4th, the gang noticed 17-year-old Christopher Phillips loitering near Linwood's parked automobile. The gang surrounded him and took him into a nearby backyard, suspecting he was attempting to steal the vehicle. He was wrestled to the ground by the three brothers there. Linwood killed Phillips by dropping a cinder block on his head when he cried for aid. On September 14th, disc jockey
This nigga Linwood is a fucking menace. Literally.
John Harvey Johnny G. Gallagher and his band were performing at a nightclub in South Richmond. He unwittingly walked right into the Brileys' clutches when stepping outdoors between sets for a breather. They decided to lie in wait for whoever might happen to go outdoors after searching the town for a victim all night without success.
So they were just searching for somebody to kill all night. Yeah, some serial shit, yeah. Okay. So these niggas dead ass were just serial killers. I ain't really know like if they were just some serial shit or like they were just some killers on some like King Von type shit, but like nah, these niggas just killing niggas.
Linwood assaulted Gallagher and threw him into the trunk of his own Lincoln Continental. He was then transported to the remnants of a paper mill on Mayo Island, in the middle of the James River, where he was taken from his trunk and shot in the head at point-blank range. His wallet was opened and $6 were divided. The body...
This is not jig and rob. This is not these niggas' purpose. He's not killing these niggas to jig and rob. This nigga, like you just said, he just took $6 out that nigga pocket and was happy. Pocket that shit. They split it. Fuck $3 for the hit. And all we did was just pick up this random nigga and kill him.
The body of Gallagher was subsequently thrown into the river. 2 days later, the remains were discovered. Linwood was still wearing a ring stolen from Gallagher's hand when he was captured months later.
You took this nigga ring and was wearing it as your jewelry? Linwood. See, I ain't gonna lie, me hearing all this shit now, I'm assuming this nigga Linwood was just a bit too hot. Like your temperature, my nigga, like your shit already at 1400 degrees, you know what I'm saying? Shit was boiling in at 100, you know what I'm saying? Shit. When do water boil at, nigga? 0 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing. And then 212 degrees Fahrenheit is boiling. Yeah.
Mary Wilfong, a 62-year-old private nurse, was followed home to her Richmond apartment on September 30th. Linwood beat her to death with a baseball bat when the brothers...
Bro, what is wrong with Linwood, bro? Damn!
They surrounded her just outside the door. The brothers then broke into her residence and stole her belongings.
Bro, these niggas ain't really
Blanche Page, 75, and her 59-year-old boarder Charles Garner were murdered by the Briley brothers 5 days later, just 2 streets from the Briley residence on 4th Avenue. Page was tragically assaulted and stabbed to death with a baseball bat, 5 knives, a pair of scissors, and a fork, while Garner was fatally assaulted and stabbed to death with different weapons, including a baseball bat, 5 knives, a pair of scissors, and a fork. Garner's back was pierced by the scissors and fork.
Probably put that bitch in, dragged her shit.
The family of Harvey Wilkerson, a long-standing acquaintance of the brothers, was murdered in the last murders. Despite promising a judge earlier that day that he would remain out of trouble while on parole, James led his brothers on the lookout for yet another victim on the morning of October 19th. Wilkerson, who lived with his 23-year...
Wait, oh, these are okay. I thought that was the Briley brothers.
Her old wife Judy Diane Barden,
No,
who was
they
5
nice.
months pregnant at the time, and
Linwood
their
look a little
5-year-old son
different.
Harvey Wayne Barden, automatically closed and locked his
That
door
nigga
when he saw
James
the
look like
brothers down the
Nazi
street.
BK.
The brothers became aware of this conduct and proceeded to Wilkerson's front door.
We know what that means. Shit, you run away, you know something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you think something like you spot something, you think you spot something. No, we spot you. Nigga, spot him. Got him. Gotta go.
Wilkerson allowed them in
You
because he
some
was
shit
afraid of
witness.
their reaction if he refused. Both
Yeah.
adults in the house were overpowered and duct taped together.
Should have known.
Linwood then assaulted Judy Barden in the kitchen, indecently assaulting her within earshot of the others. Linwood dragged Barden back into
I
the
gotta
living
stop
room,
biting my
briefly
finger,
rummaged
bro.
the premises for valuables, and then left the house while Meekins continued the indecent assault. The 3 surviving gang members used sheets to cover their victims. "You've got to get one," James said, as Meekins grabbed a revolver and fatally shot Wilkerson in the head. Barden was then fatally shot by James. Harvey arrived shortly after. The gang members were afterwards seen sprinting down the street at high speeds by police who happened to be in the general vicinity of the neighborhood. They had no idea where the shots came from. The remains weren't discovered for another 3 days, but the brothers were all apprehended shortly after. During police questioning, Meekins was given a plea deal in exchange for giving over state evidence against the Brileys. He accepted
So this nigga got a plea to snitch.
the offer and detailed the crime spree, avoiding the death
Wow.
penalty and being imprisoned in a Virginia prison far away from the Briley brothers.
This nigga's a fucking rat. This nigga's a rat. But he did save his own life. Shit. That nigga said death penalty or the Briley brothers gotta go in jail. Shit. He said y'all can't cut me some slack. This is a little different. Like you either want me to choose death or to be a rat. And this is not like jail time. Like no, this is like literal death. Damn, like in Japan, bro, niggas is dying. I'm saying, I'm just saying, bro.
Meekins was
I don't know.
sentenced to life in prison plus 80 years, which, at the time of his conviction, would have made him eligible for release after 12 to 15 years. Due to his little involvement in the crimes, Anthony Briley, the youngest brother of the trio, was given a single life term with the possibility of parole. Because of Virginia's triggerman legislation, both James and Linwood received life terms for the killings they committed during the spree, but only faced capital charges if they had physically killed the victim. Linwood was condemned to death for Gallagher's kidnapping and murder, while James received 2 death sentences, one for Judy Barden's murder and the other for her son Harvey's murder. In early 1980, both were sentenced to death at Mecklenburg Correctional Center near Boyden. On May 31, 1984, Linwood and James Briley led a 6-inmate escape from Virginia's death row at
What the fuck? Plot twist. Holy shit. So these niggas were sentenced to prison. You know what I'm saying? One was sentenced to the death penalty, was supposed to get the death penalty, the other one was supposed to get some sentences. Whole time they both got sentenced to the death penalty on some walk shit. Same spot, brother, both about to get death penalty. Then they said, fuck that. Right before the death penalty, we're breaking out of jail, nigga. We get out this shit. Niggas escape.
Mecklenburg Correctional Center. Both Brileys displayed considerable interest in killing the captured guards by dousing them with rubbing alcohol and chucking a lit match during the early minutes of the escape, when a coordinated effort resulted in convicts taking over the death row unit. Another death row
They took over the death row unit?
inmate, Willie
He's
Lloyd Turner,
crazy.
got in the way and stopped James. Meanwhile, Linwood was prevented from indecently abusing a female nurse by Wilbert Lee Evans, who was on death row after being convicted of the murder of Alexandria City Sheriff's Officer William Truesdale. Despite requests for pardon and testimony from Mecklenburg guards who stated Evans saved their lives, Evans was executed on October 17, 1990. Clemency was contested by Alexandria Commonwealth's Attorney John Clark and Democratic Governor L. Douglas Wilder, the state's first African-American governor.
L. Douglas Wilder. Damn. This nigga was in like the 80s? I went to that middle school. Damn. I didn't know he was that young. Or, I mean, shit, I don't know, but I didn't know niggas that recent.
Eventually refused it. The first aim for the group was to
L.
flee
Douglas
to
Wilder
Canada.
alive?
Lem Davis
I don't
Tuggle
think so.
Jr., convicted of indecently assaulting and murdering one woman shortly after being...
L. Douglas Wilder is alive? And he's a governor? Well, he was a former governor, obviously, but... Governed from 1990 to 94. Damn. And non-Saudi, that's alright.
Released for another such crime, executed by lethal injection on December 12, 1996, and Willie Leroy Jones, convicted of 2 capital murders, executed on September 11, 1992, came close to succeeding, making it as far as Vermont before being apprehended by police at gunpoint. The trio was incarcerated in Rutland's Marble Valley Correctional Facility for extradition to Virginia. The Brileys split off from their 2 surviving co-escapers in Philadelphia and moved to the north of the city to live near their uncle, Johnny Lee Council. They were apprehended on June 19 by a heavily armed gang of FBI agents and cops who had figured out their whereabouts by tapping their uncle's phone line. The remaining appeals for both brothers ran out quickly. On Thursday, March 28, 1985, a few weeks before his execution, James Briley married Evangeline Grant Redding in a prison wedding attended by his father. James Sr. Linwood was executed on October 12, 1984, and James was executed on April 18, 1985, at the Virginia State Penitentiary in Richmond. Linwood had 1 son, Norman Laquan Ampey, who died in 2015 after serving time in prison for bank robbery. James is survived by 3 Richmond-based daughters. The boys are buried at Bethel, North Carolina, at the Council family's grave plot. Because it could not be shown that Anthony Ray Briley was personally responsible for any murders, he was sentenced to life in prison with the chance of release. He is held at the Augusta Correctional Center, which is located about 20 miles outside of Staunton, Virginia. Despite recommendations from former prosecutors Robert J. Rice and Warren Von Schuck, who noted Meekin's assistance in prosecuting and convicting the Briley brothers, the state parole board has denied all of his applications for parole, as has Duncan Meekin's.
Damn. So 2 of them niggas are still incarcerated. Shit, Anthony Briley. Let me look up that nigga. Yo, that's crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. No, that's crazy. Hey, make sure y'all like and subscribe. We out this bitch.